Good afternoon, everybody. Andy here with South Florida Professionals, and today we're going live with one of our members of South Florida Professionals Network, Emilio Mejia. Emilio, good afternoon, sir. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Andy, and thank you for having me. I'm doing all right. Just here, this hot weather, trying to get through it.
South Florida, man, you got to love it. I mean, I was just on a video interview with another one of our members that he deals with mosquitoes. And we were talking about South Florida and the weather that is just, awesome at times, but sometimes the heat can be a little bit brutal.
Yeah, me and mosquitoes we don't fare well together.
So, Emilio, I know that we're going to be talking about a very important topic today for local South Florida business owners, and we are broadcasting live. So, if you're watching this live feed right now, we are taking live questions on the feed. So, if you're watching us on a Facebook, on Twitter, or in a Facebook group, just go ahead and feel free to comment, and Emilio will take your questions live on the air here. Emilio, before we get into this very important topic, though, tell us a little bit about you, man, and what it is that you do.
So my name is Emilio Mejia. I am the CEO and owner of AM3 Technology and Cybersecurity. We spun off from another managed service provider locally here in South Florida. We do managed IT services, but we do manage IT services with a focus on cybersecurity. Before you would worry about if your IT department was taking care of your support issues, of your network, of your company. So we do all of that. But right now we take it a step further because the last couple of years, the landscape has changed and cyber threats are on the rise. So right now we focus on mitigating your threat and protecting your intellectual data, your PII, which is your personal information and identification, and your finances. Everybody's getting hacked. Everybody's getting their things taken. We focus on protecting the stuff that matters to you. A lot of small business owners spend time building their business, and the last thing they want to do is get hacked and lose a lot of that. So we focus on protecting that for our clients.
Ever since the pandemic, we have gone more and more into a virtual world where people are using their PCs and their mobile phones to communicate and do business. So, why is cybersecurity more important now than even before?
It's been made very easy to have access to. Right now, anybody can hack almost anything, almost as a service, to be honest. There's the dark web, everybody's online, phones, home, your house computer is not protected like your work computer. Some companies are not taking the steps needed to protect them properly. And it's just so much easier. Everything is in the digital age. Everything that can be used for good can also be used for bad. And it's just taken off in the last 3 to 5 years.
I know that in our private group for South Florida professionals in our private WhatsApp community recently, there's been a few people that have gotten their social profiles hacked, their Instagram accounts hacked, their Facebook accounts hacked, and of course, the messages that go out, they appear to be real, but they're not. So before we get into this FTC thing, can you share some tips for all the business owners that are watching right now, and just something real basic that they can do to keep their accounts a little more secure?
Definitely, we definitely can. Number one would be do not use the same password across your social media accounts or any accounts, to be honest, is number one. Number two, I would say get a password manager, right? Because everybody's complaint is, I don't want to remember 5 difficult passwords. I don't want to remember 10 difficult passwords. So why don't we just remember one very difficult password? And then inside the password manager, you'll have a randomly generated password of about 20 or 30 characters, and then whenever you're logging into that system, you just copy and paste it in, and all you have to do is remember one. So that's two. And number three, and possibly the most important, is to turn on MFA, also known as 2FA, multi-factor authentication or two-factor authentication. That is the case where you put in your password, and then the system also asks you to put in a code that it usually texts you or email you, or a code that a third-party app generates for you. I would say that is the most important one. And I've seen a lot of clients and a lot of people that reach out to me that's the step that they forget. Nothing is 100%. And I always tell that to all of my clients. If anybody tells you they can 100% protect you from anything, run away. So yeah, those three tips will definitely get you as safe as you can be when it comes to the social media platforms.
Great information, my friend. Great information. Thank you for sharing that. Folks, if you're watching this live right now, go ahead and share this. Share this on your profile. Share this on your network. Just go ahead and hit share down below so that other people can benefit from the very important information that Emilio is going to share with us today. So, Emilio, let's focus on the topic here. And we're talking about FTC safeguards rule. It's changing our you. And man, I got to be honest with you. When you first talked to me about that, I was blown away and I was like, is that a thing? Because I am a business owner, but I have no clue that that even is a thing, how it works, or whether it exists and why I need to notice. And I venture to say that probably 99% of our viewers today probably don't have a clue either. So explain to us what's going on, man.
So FTC, IRS, GLBA Act, safeguard rules in a nutshell. It's been around for a while, but now it's starting to be enforced. So if you're in a financial industry, non-banking financial industry, and how they classify that, there's a little bit of gray area, but I'll give some examples. CPAs, accountants, tax preparer, finance company, advanced payday loans, real estate, construction, healthcare, financial advisors, car dealerships, especially mortgage lenders, any firm that handles financial information. So if they take your name, your social, your address, your income, anything like that, they are going to be bound to the FTC safeguard rules. So the FTC is basically saying, if you're taking on this important information from clients, I need you to make sure that it is safe when it's within your company's, information or repository.
So does this affect only people in the financial world?
They're aiming it more towards the financial non-banking, but really anybody that, so they'll be the ones that will have to be within compliance, and they can come after, penalties, lawsuits, fines. But anybody that handles this information is open to lawsuits from anybody. So let me give you an example. You don't deal with financials, but you have all of my information. Now you get hacked, and now somebody does identity theft on me. Now I can come after you.
Interesting. So even though I'm not into finance, but if I have an accountant, my accountant is not compliant, then now I'm kind of, my business is kind of inside that loop.
In a way, well, there's both sides, right? You can be the victim of it because your accountant gets hit and he doesn't have the safeguards in place. But let's pretend that you had somebody's PII, personal identification information, and then they are attacked or identity theft or their credit cards are stolen from your system. Now they can come after you directly. Now the FTC and the IRS won't be coming after you because you don't fall under these guidelines. But in general, all of my clients, and I let them know this, this hurts your reputation, this hurts your brand. And the last thing you want is a lawsuit about identity theft, hurting your company and affecting your clientele.
Very interesting. For those of you just joining us now live, we're talking to Emilio Mejia, and he is the co-author of FTC Safeguards Rules Are Changing Our You. It's a great publication that I believe that he just created. And folks, whether you're in banking, finance, accounting, we just heard that this can affect any and all of us here. And it's something that you really, really need to pay attention to. Emilio, what are some of the things that a consumer can do right immediately off the bat, if anything?
So there's a couple things. Number one, talk to whoever's providing your IT right now and let them know if they have not brought this up, that this is happening and that it needs to be addressed. If for some reason you don't have anyone that you use for IT right now, you can always reach out to us and we can, have an intro call and lend you a hand. But there's a couple things that you need to do. And I need everybody to understand that this is not a set it and forget it type of thing. Before it was. So now what the FTC is doing is they're giving you the mandates needed to follow these safeguard rules. And they happen to be ongoing. So I'll give you a couple. The first one is to have a risk assessment by a qualified individual, right? That can be an IT company, an IT security service company, or someone tech and savvy enough to understand the guidelines. I believe in the link that you shared or that you are sharing, I have a PDF that they can download, and that'll take them to the FTC Safeguard website, and there they can see everything. But I'll start going over them. So a risk assessment by a qualified individual. The second one, after the risk assessment is done, is a risk management plan and ongoing evaluations. So once we know what's out there and what, let's use an accountant for the sake of the art of the interview. Once I know the information that an accountant is storing, where they're storing it, how they're using it, how they're communicating it, is it encrypted, is it not, how they send it to their clients, just their interaction with that sensitive information. Once we know, now we create a plan for it, right? Here's where the backups live. Here's how we encrypt it. Here's how we keep it away from hackers, right? With different layers of security. This is how I keep it away from my employees that shouldn't be seeing it. This is how I give access to my employees that are seeing it. This is how I audit who sees that information. So then we create that plan, and then we implement that plan. And then number 3 would be employee training and monitoring, right? Your employees need to know what to do when they're handling that type of information. So ongoing security awareness training for the employees. And that is the chapter in my book, actually, in my book, where I co-authored. And I'll be giving away that chapter of the book as well, if for anybody that goes to the link that's scrolling below. And the last one is an incident response plan, right? You need to know what happens and what steps to take when your system is hacked. It's almost like a fire drill, right? Everybody hates doing a fire drill, and you got to walk out of the building and you got to know what stairs to go to. But if you never did it and the fire happens, now you're in panic mode. So you always want an incident response plan. So those are the 4 things at a very high level, right? You want a risk assessment by a qualified individual or company. You want a risk management plan that's written, and then you want ongoing evaluations of it and implementation of it. You want to train your employees on an ongoing basis, and then you want to create an incident response plan so that if something does happen, you know exactly how to act and who to call.
Sounds like a whole lot of hoops and things to go through for the average person that only deals with numbers, right? I mean, I guess that's the reason why they need to call Emilio.
It definitely is. It is a little harder than just, piecing together 2 things. Unfortunately, like I said, the cyber landscape is changing. Before it was as simple as, do I have an antivirus and do I have a backup? That's what everybody wanted. An antivirus in case I catch a virus, and a backup in case my computer goes kapoots and I have all the information. We're way beyond that now. We need security teams monitoring things. We need things to be monitored that we don't know need to be monitored. And then, an alarm goes off, your security team calls you and tells you, hey, we just saw that someone's trying to log into your Office 365 account from Russia. And we know that you're in South Florida. So this is a red flag, Were they successful? Were they not? So things like that now happen on the daily. And, usually you need a team to help you mitigate that.
So, Emilio, let's shift gears for a minute here. Most people that are working online, or people that have computers and emails and everything, they are more of a reactive mode, right? Something happens, my account got hacked. Oh my God, the sky is falling. Now what do I do? What are some of the things to be proactive, and do you offer any of those proactive services?
That is exactly what we do. So our clients have us on a contract basis. So of course they call us when something breaks, but my team works proactively. That's what managed IT services is. We're a managed IT service provider with a focus on cybersecurity. So my team is constantly monitoring computers for health, monitoring servers for health, monitoring security at the different levels, right? Small businesses, a lot of people work from home. So we build a bubble around their computers and their home. A lot of them also work from offices. So at the office infrastructure, we also put the tools and checks and balances in place to check those. If we see that your computer is low on memory or low on storage, we go ahead and proactively start that. My goal is so that I don't interrupt your working. Your productivity, your efficiency, and your security is our top priority. So we want you guys to keep working without having to say, hey, my hard drive's going bad. Hey, I'm running out of space. Hey, I have a virus. My team should know you have a virus before you have a virus, unless, of course, it's instantly just popped up on the screen, or malware or something like that. We should know almost instantaneous. If your office loses internet, my office should know when your office knows. So yeah, we do a lot of proactive. Of course, we do reactive. I never know what a hacker is going to write tomorrow. So we're always playing defense per se. They're always playing offense. So we're always going to be slightly behind, but we definitely take a proactive approach to our IT managed services and to our cybersecurity.
So, and another question for you: how does this compare? I mean, cost-wise and effective-wise to just having an IT person on board in your company. I mean, you hire an employee, you pay him X amount. You have a seat, you have insurance, you have employee costs. What are the pros and cons of hiring somebody like M3 as opposed to having a body all day inside an office?
I'm very glad that you asked that, because that is a very common question that we get all the time. So there's a lot of differences. Number one, we also do bodies at clients, and there's benefits to that as well. But to answer the general question, you can hire somebody, right? And they are a level 1 tech, a level 2 tech, maybe an IT manager. That person specializes in maybe one thing, or can do one thing, right? So if you hire a level 2 tech, he can fix all your computers. But is he a security expert? And now you need the tools. So you always need the tools, and now you need the training. And now you need a process for those tools to streamline everything. So hiring one person compared to hiring a team, when the cost might be about the same. So you're hiring a team of 3 to 10 people on a daily basis, and what it might cost you to hire one person on site, right? What if that person is sick? What if that person can't get to multiple tickets or multiple issues at a time? How do they do reactive and proactive? How do they do reactive and proactive and make sure that your security is intact? So, we provide everything at one monthly cost. It usually varies by client. Usually we need a cybersecurity risk assessment to let them know what that cost would be. But yeah, it's almost like renovating a house. Hey, come in and renovate my house. Come and look at it, check everything out, give me a quote type thing. But yes, hiring somebody. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Yeah. So when you hire somebody, they have one expertise, they have one set of skills. And usually you can have somebody that's a jack of all trades, but usually that person is going to cost you either a lot more, and you're still at the mercy of it's one person, right? And as I mentioned, you still need the tools, the training, and the processes behind those tools to make things work efficiently.
So those are very, very valid points. There's another point I don't know if you covered, and that is that you deal with so many case scenarios that your knives are sharpened all the time. So what you may find with one client, you can use that and have that applied to multiple clients, while an in-house person almost operates in a vacuum and operates only on what they see on a daily basis on their own systems. But a new hack comes out, a new tool comes out, whatever, the chances of you guys being exposed to that and being able to have that damage mitigated is just huge.
Yes, we are always on top of the latest and greatest, going to conferences, and as you mentioned, our hands are in different pots all the time. So we're here, we're there. I can have a 2-person office that is affected by something. I can have a 300-person office that's affected by something. They both have different networks. We learn differently from them. We know what to implement here and what to implement there, and different solutions. And yes, as you mentioned, when you are in-house IT, this is what you know, this is what you're good at, and you're probably very, very good at it. But as I mentioned, then you don't become a jack of all trades, and you're not able to give clients different solutions and different opportunities there. Very valid point.
Great points, great information. Folks, if you've been watching us live or if you're watching this on the replay, today's main topic was the FTC safeguards rule. is changing and how it can apply to your business, specifically if you're in the accounting, finance, or you deal with any personal information, personal ID. If you missed the beginning of the broadcast, or if you're watching us live right now, go ahead and contact Emilio at AM3 Technology and Security at 786-310-3456. He has a book out, and he also has a link on the site. You can copy that down right now. The link is being shown on the bottom of your screen there. But just contact Emilio and have him give you an update, have him give you a briefing on what is changing regarding the rules for the FTC and your business. Again, specifically if you're in the financial area. Emilio, and the other great topics you talked about, being proactive for business owners. Fantastic, man. You know, the only thing that we hear is people being reactive, right? When passwords get hacked and stuff happens, well, you have an opportunity to be reactive and get ahead of the hackers, if that's even possible. I mean, you know, these guys are working day and night around the clock. So that's why you need somebody like Emilio Mejia on your team, on your staff, and he can be reached at 786-310-3456, folks. Emilio, before we conclude, do you have any other tips or any information that you want to offer to our viewers today regarding cybersecurity, regarding the FTC, or anything at all?
Just to add to what you just mentioned, and the reactive and proactive, this is almost what the FTC wants you to do. They want you to be proactive about this. So part of this is to create what they call a WISP, written information security plan. And that plan says every 3 months, I'm going to test vulnerability scanning. Every week, I'm going to test my employees, right? I'm going to give them security awareness training, and I'm going to send fake phishing emails. And I'm going to see if they fall for a phishing email. If they do, then I'm going to address it with training, right? So your backups, your vulnerability scans, your user training, and then your checks and balances. That's what they want you to do proactively, right? So that we don't have to get to the, oh, now I've been hacked, now let me be reactive. So, you know, just tying it together to what you were bringing, to what you were saying, that's basically what they're saying. They're saying, let's stop being reactive and let's be proactive. If you're handling sensitive information, we want you to protect it, and this is how we want you to protect it. I believe the deadline is June of this year, unless they've pushed it back within the last week and we haven't been notified. They're not going to start coming out and chasing people around and, hey, let me fine you, let me give you a lawsuit. But if something does happen, it will be seen as negligence because you didn't take action, and then they will take their action. And I think the last people that you want to be in trouble with is, FTC, IRS, or any government agency.
For sure, man. It sounds a little bit too complicated for the average business owners to deal with all that, and it sounds like the penalties can be harsh. So advise everybody to contact Emilio Mejia at AM3 Technology and Cybersecurity at 786-310-3456, and just do a health check. Be sure that you're in compliance with the FTC. And if you've ever had any issues with your PC, office environments, accounts getting hacked, whatever, a phone call and a consultation would not be a bad idea to be proactive and try and stay ahead of the curve. Emilio, my friend, I want to thank you for your time. I know you're a busy guy dealing with those baddies out there and trying to infect every PCs around, but I do want to thank you for being a member of South Florida Professionals as well. We definitely can use your expertise. And again, my friend, if you guys have watched this live or watching this on the replay, please go ahead and share with your colleagues, other business owners. The information that you share with them might save them a lot of time, a lot of headaches, and a lot of issues in the future. Thank you all.
Thank you very much for having me, Andy.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.